Thank you. Can we move forward to roll call?
Councilmember Friend,
Present.
Mayor Velasquez,
Here.
Councilmember Scattini,
Here.
City Manager Avera,
Here.
and City Attorney Moll, Chief of Police Westwick.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Verification of agenda posting.
The agenda for the City Council meeting of November 4th, 2013 was posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on October 31st, 2013 at 11:30 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you very much. We have a proclamation for the Key Club Week. Is there somebody here to present? Whereas Key Club International, the world's oldest and largest high school service organization with more than 250,000 members in 30 countries, is observing the week of November 4th through the 8th, 2013 as Key Club Week. And now, therefore, I, Ignacio Velasquez, Mayor of the City of Hollister, proclaim November 4th through the 8th, 2013 as Key Club Week in the City of Hollister, and call upon our officials and all citizens to render all support to the members of this organization and make themselves aware of Key Club, whose members are preparing themselves to be better, more responsible citizens through service to our community. Thank you. Can you say a few words?
Hi, I'm Kellen Sullivan, and Key Club is an international club that loves to do service for our community, and I'm proud to accept this.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move forward to item A, consent resolution. Are there any items council wants to pull?
If I may, Mayor, staff would like to add one or make a comment on A3.
A3?
Yes.
And I would like to pull A7.
Okay, A3, A7. Are there any other items?
I'd like to move to approve the consent calendar with the exception of A3 and A7.
Is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move to A3.
See, there was just a one quick last-minute change on the resolution. I believe we put a copy of the new resolution on your desk prior to this evening. I'd like to just add for the public who received the packet online or via out in the lobby. There's a whereas that's added to the resolution that basically says that the value of the obsolete vehicle does not exceed $5,000, and part of the public convenience is served because the public receives services at a discounted price in exchange for an obsolete vehicle and doesn't have to pay auction fees. So those were just the two of the findings that we wanted to add to the resolution that you have before you on item A3 for services provided by EVS.
Okay. Any questions, Councilmember Scattini?
No.
Councilmember Friend?
No.
I have no questions.
I move to approve item A3.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Move forward to A7.
Yes, Council, Mayor, members. I have A7 here. It's a resolution to adopt a agreement with South Santa Clara Fire District, which is contracted to CAL FIRE. We worked out an auto aid agreement to assist us in the north area of the county, which is from Fallon Road north to the county line. They will assist having an engine and additional resources coming in, as well as we will send additional resources when they need it. It's strictly a non-cost item. We're just back and forth as we need the resources. And it's on auto aid, so it'll be automatically dispatched. It won't be a request by them. So.
Okay. Councilmember Friend?
The question I had, Chief, is didn't we already have a mutual aid agreement with South County?
We have mutual aid with the whole state of California. There's a master mutual aid agreement. So any department requests mutual aid, we will respond usually to them. This is an auto aid. This means that
Okay, so they
as
automatically-
part of a dispatch, we'll have 2 engines and an engine from them coming automatically. It's seamless. It's
Rather
not,
than wait for your request.
right, it won't wait for us to get on scene and request. There's no delay. It will automatically be a part of the dispatch.
My concern is when our equipment is out on Highway 152, as far as this red design
Zone,
is.
correct.
That's pretty good ways up the hill before we
Yes, it
get
is.
there. What we lose if a major,
That's
something
actually,
comes down in the city, while these guys are 12 miles out on 152, it's kind of a,
correct. This is the county engine, Engine 3 or Engine 13, that will be covering that zone. It's the county engine.
well, I didn't see in the description of services
Right,
the type of incidents. Now, I understand major traffic collisions.
right. Structure fires, medical aids.
You know, my concern is vegetation fire, where it's going to
Right.
be,
That's mostly state responsibility area. It's SRA.
that's CAL FIRE right there.
Yeah, it's CAL FIRE, correct. We may assist them initially, but we'll be released because we are auto aid and it's not our county. So they usually will kick us loose.
Okay.
That's usually the norm, unless it's a major campaign fire where we'll be getting paid by, the state for being out there.
Okay. Councilmember Scutini?
Mike, there's no charge on this, is there?
No. This is
No- no
right,
fees?
There's no money changing hands or nothing of that nature. It's
Right.
strictly, we give them a service and they return, come in, assist us on Fallon for vehicle accidents or on the 156 corridor there on vehicle accidents and stuff. They have a paramedic engine that they can,
Where
an
is
ALS engine. Out of Pacheco,
The Pacheco.
out of Pacheco Station there, right across from Casa de Fruta. So it gives us another engine quicker and doesn't tie up as much resources, our resources to those calls. So it's a pretty good deal.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
Okay.
That's all I have.
I'll move that we approve A7.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item B. Is there a motion for approval on item B1?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to C, public input. This is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
I have 2 tonight. Marty Richmond.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Marty Richmond from Hollister, excuse me. I just want to always thank the council for its support of the veterans and the residents of Hollister, many of whom are residents of veterans themselves, for the support of the veterans in our community. November the 11th, a week from tonight, will be Veterans Day. And I just want to point out that of the 16 million some odd veterans who served during World War II, approximately 1.5 million are left alive, and the median age is 92. So if you run into a veteran who served in World War II, make sure you tell them thank you. And all the veterans deserve an equal amount, but that was a very special time when about 12% of the U.S. population served in the armed forces at the height of World War II. Today, less than 1/2% of the population serves in the armed forces. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Keith Snow.
Council, my name is Keystone, house residents. And one thing I was wondering about watching meetings at home, but now I'm here. You guys all talked about months ago about waiving impact fees to get business in the city. And I know a lot of businesses want to come in, officer, nurse, want to get in the city, and to create jobs. But now, getting rid of Robert, an administrative finance person, and Brett to go to that job. I'm wondering, why did you guys tell the people what you guys are doing with the engineer? And then wasting taxpayer money by hiring consultants. And then when I answer a question, I was watching everything you guys are doing, listening to it. When I asked for a workshop, Victor over there, Mr. Gomez said that we should do a workshop. And then you guys said you put more water bill. Every time when I would contest the water project, and I just got more bill today. And I said, what's in there? And when you talk about 3 minutes, it said got to me, Chief of Police Wedrick from Los Banos and Kathy here, and another gang person from Los Banos, law officers. One time when I see council meeting, and Los Banos said 8.5 years. The means 5 minutes. In another city, other counties, it's 7 minutes. Once you give people a chance to talk, to explain themselves what to do, and give them like input, so you get feedback. Because if you guys can't do nothing for yourself, but see, it's a waste taxpayer money, taxpayer people. I mean, have you guys thought about that? Because you're not listening about the workshop, impacting people in ideas and committees. I gave the documents. I shared those documents. I forgot I lost and shared them. We need more committees. We need more input from the people in the city to be part of it. And I mean, have you guys thought about that? I know. Once you get it figured out, next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other speakers? No. Let's move forward to item D1, report from CMAP.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Kathy Bisbee, the Executive Director of CMAP. Good to see all of you and new faces here as well. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but CMAP is, as folks may know, we're the cable access channels. We have a public educational government access channel, and we are funded through a per-subscriber fee through the cable companies. Unfortunately, in 2006, we lost the ability to spend those PEG fees in any way that we wish at the local level. So the cable companies have determined that we are only allowed to spend those on capital costs, which means that we've had to reduce our budget by 2/3. So the good news is that we've been able to keep doing all of the work that we were doing despite those budget cuts. We've been continuing our coverage of local government meetings. We cover over 3,000, we air over 3,000 hours of government meetings in San Benito County and as well in Gilroy. And we also are now airing Santa Clara County in Gilroy as well, the supervisors up there. So we're providing for quite a bit of government transparency and citizen participation. We've also changed, we've had a lot of changes in the last year, in part because of these budget cuts and also needing to become more efficient and more relevant. In a YouTube age, people often ask us, why is a public educational government access cable channel still relevant? Well, one of the benefits in this last year is that AT&T came to town, which has been both financially helpful for the city and also for CMAP in being able to add our subscriber base actually doubled. So it used to be only about 13,000 subscribers would see the Hollister City Council meetings, and now We have a subscriber base of about 26,000, so more people are watching, which is good. We want people to be involved. We've also added the streaming online in the last couple years, which I know there are people who are watching tonight online, and you don't need cable anymore to have access to CMAP's programming, our local content. So one of the things that was really exciting also in the last year is that we moved to Gavilan College, from Gavilan College rather, down to Christopher High School. So we moved our studio. We built a brand new studio there at the high school. We have 5 times as many people involved as we did 2 years ago. So that was really a great move for us. Half of the members that we have are coming from San Benito County. So folks, do drive up there. We have lots of activities that we do here as well, lots of in-the-field productions, and of course our Election Day coverage last year was pretty impactful. We did live Election Day coverage, so that was very exciting. And we also have Channel 18. Now that we're no longer at Gavilan College, we are actually making that a regional channel. So Gavilan actually dropped the channel, and we've been making that a regional channel, which has been really helpful to have more content on the channels that serves both local and regional interest as well. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we have a middle school program after school at the YMCA. We have 3 after-school programs serving middle school students and teaching them leadership, job training, teamwork, communication skills, and most importantly, media and technology skills. And they're using iPads to both shoot videos and edit them on iPads this year. That was a new thing that we started this year, and so it was really exciting to see them get involved. Some of the programs that we have regularly on our channels, we have Arts 101 that covers kind of up and down the 101, but also the basics of arts in our community. We cover all kinds of events at Black Sage and other locations in the community. We have covered every single home San Benito High football game this year. We did so over the last 10 years, but this year we have a volunteers help. Rob Campbell, who's the digital media instructor at San Benito High, has done all of the games by himself without a staff person. So we're really excited because one of the ways that we're going to be able to still stay relevant and efficient is by getting community members to volunteer for some of these things that we've had paid staff do in the past. We also have Going Green, which is a show of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce, and it's all about businesses and how they can become more green and environmentally friendly. And so David Uboy and Sean Novak from the Water Resources Council have been doing that for 2 years. They haven't missed a month. And this is an all-volunteer entity with some sponsorship that helps support some staff involvement at CMAP. So we're really proud of them in that show. We've also started in August an open mic night, so we want to encourage anyone in the community to come in and perform. We've had everyone from a 7-year-old to a 75-year-old come in and perform anything. Any kind of art is welcome. We mostly have music acts, but we're open to anything. And of course, this year we covered the Hollister Rally again, which was really exciting for our team. And definitely not last, we did 20 PSAs for nonprofits in the community to help get the word out about their need for volunteers and funding and get people to their events. I'm going to show you a video really quickly. It's just a 2-minute clip, and then I'd be love to hear if you have any questions. It's from the San Benito Olive Festival, and I just want to plug, we actually have been doing paid productions because we have to become more like a business in the nonprofit world. So we contracted with the San Benito Olive Festival at a very, very low cost, but we did 5 artisan videos about San Benito County businesses, and they're just really high quality, and this is just one of them that you can see. And Paul is going to hit play here. Thank you so much to my lovely assistant, Paul, the technology director. And also, I want to thank Paul. He's actually been on our board of directors for 6 years. He just termed out. So I want to thank him both for his technology help and for being on the board. You can see, yep, go.
My family moved to San Benito County because it provided a nice place to raise a family and a place where we could afford to start our life and buy a home. And the business largely moved here for the same reasons. There's an incredible benefit to us in the supply base from our almonds, pistachios, walnuts, chocolate, sugar, packaging, butter, milk. Most of the things that we use here come from within 500 miles of the facility. And that's local sourcing on a very grand scale. As far as San Benito County, in and of itself, they were very welcoming to us as a business. They supported us from the beginning, and they have ever since. is I'd say it's all handcrafted to varying degrees. If you start with our toffee or our toffee almonds, they're made in batches of 28 pounds. We may sell hundreds of thousands of pounds of it, but it starts out as 28 pounds. Our job is to bring a moment of pleasure to someone's day. That's it. It's no more complicated than that. When we have someone make a positive comment about an experience with either our company or the product, those are memories. And I never get sick of hearing that. I learn things from everybody in this company. They come here with their own talents, their own abilities, and they genuinely care about what they're making. I mean, look, the reality of it is, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. I get to get up every morning and do something that I really love with people that genuinely care about the company and they care about the customers. You can see it when you walk around the building, and you can see it on people's faces. They genuinely feel like they matter here.
So I want to thank the San Bernardino Community Foundation for their support of the Olive Festival, which helped us to produce this video. So when you're watching that very high-quality video, that's much higher quality than you see on a lot of public access stations around the country, can you imagine if we had a video like that for every San Bernardino County business, every nonprofit in our community, how much that would help support our goals of economic development and community participation. So we hope that we can continue to serve you in those ways, and also to have young people working, young and old people working, of all ages, working on those videos and learning skills. I've also included our annual report, so you can check out that, and would love to hear if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Scutini.
I don't have any question at this time, Kathy. I followed CMAP for a long time, so I don't have anything to say. Got your brochure, and it's
Great.
quite interesting to read. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Friend.
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment that I've worked and traveled all over the state, and I want to tell you that we're very lucky because of the quality of what you put out as far as the 4 stations that you run. There's a lot of people in Hollister, especially in San Bernardino County, that wouldn't know what's going on in the city if it wasn't for Channel 17 in a lot of cases. It's very helpful for people to be able to not come down here, but at least keep in touch with what's going on. And I've watched other council meetings in other cities, and the coverage is a lot better with ours. So you can actually see and hear, and it's a lot better than what they would see. And I like the videos that you do for around the county. I wish, and maybe we'll do this in the near future, where we do one for the city as a whole that we can use as a sell tactic to, with the economic development group, so we can do something about that.
We'd love to do one for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your compliments. And I want to just say kudos to Paul Da Silva. 6 years is a long time to be on the board, so I just want to thank him in front of you. And also the staff that is at the meetings that's often behind the scenes, Josiah Guerrera, and also we've had Nick Brandt, our technology director, down here in the last 6 months. And we'll probably have some new folks at some point coming in as well.
A great job.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward. I think that's a great idea Councilmember Friend had about having you help us with a promotional video for the city and the county. So,
Would love to. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
okay, let's move forward. Item E, there is no business. F1.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If you'll recall, the City of Hollister sold a piece of property which is now part of the Walgreens location. And at that time, it was determined by the City Council that the proceeds of that sale, a bulk of the proceeds of that sale, would be used for other economic development sort of programs or projects that came about. Back in August, staff presented a somewhat of a plan of a few items that we were hoping to embark upon, and one of them was actually doing a PKF report for the potential hotel development within the city of Hollister. Based on the conversation that night, it was sort of the consensus of the council to move forward with that direction, and therefore the item that you have before you is essentially that. It is a professional services contract with PKF to perform market analysis or market study for the potential development of a hotel within the city limits of the city of Hollister. It is critical in many cases for hotels when they go to get financing through a public source to have a report such as a PKF report when trying to obtain financing. The PKF is probably the leader in the industry and probably considered the most relevant group or organization. They do this stuff all over the country and especially here in the state of California. We contacted them. We got them to provide us a proposal to prepare a study for us that essentially that we can begin marketing or handing out to potential developers. That's kind of our goal. We wanted to start with something to give them to let that any developer that was looking to potentially build a hotel in town, at least the initial sort of demand or the initial analysis that would say that whether or not a project and what size of a project would actually work in the city of Hollister. There's 3 phases to the project. One is basically the market demand, which is broken down into several subcategories. The phase 2 is analysis of economic feasibility, which kind of gives a 10-year projection. And then the phase 3 is essentially the formal report. The cost for the 3 phases is about $14,000. We expect to have that back probably in 6 to 8 weeks, 10 tops. So we can begin disseminating that information to local developers and or regional, national developers as soon as possible. We believe now is the right time to do this. We have, obviously, the national park is huge. We have the rally back and committed for a few years, or for 10 years. There's several things that we believe that now is the right time to start looking at this. The last one that was done was for project specific that the city was involved in was a hotel on the 400 block. That was actually done in 1997, I believe. So any of the information that was in that particular study is pretty much outdated at this point. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them for you. If not, staff recommends that the council authorize the mayor to execute the professional services contract with PKF.
Okay. Do we have any speakers?
Marty Richmond?
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Marty Richmond. I'm in support of the staff report. For better or worse, we live in a very a world that is very specialized. Every business in this world anymore is very specialized. It has people who know a lot about it because there is a lot to know about being a successful business. In addition to that, even the name recognition of certain hotel chains, for better or worse, are very recognizable. People make their reservations sometimes from thousands of miles away. They've never seen the hotel. All they do is pick up something on the internet, or they pick up the telephone and they call their favorite chain, or a chain name they recognize. We all know what happened during the rally. The rally was a great success. A lot of people had to go live over at the Hilton Garden Inn in Gilroy because we were booked out. With the, as the interim city manager mentioned, with the National Park online, you're going to have more and more of that. In fact, I foresee, because of the 2-lane highway, I foresee we're going to have regular bus service down to the National Park. And people will come back and they will want a place to stay and they get back late at night. This is no knock on the motels and hotels that are here now, but it's just that we need to expand that selection. So I'm in total support. I think the price is very reasonable considering the amount of information and specialization that has to be brought to this kind of an operation. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers?
No.
Councilmember Scatini, do you have any questions?
Are you referring to that piece of land behind Walgreens?
Yeah,
For a hotel?
Well, actually, a couple of things. When I mentioned the piece of land behind Walgreens, that was essentially, or the property, that's the money that we kind of set aside to do these types of reports. The actual location for the hotel is kind of another part of the report that they may end up doing for us. What we've tried to do is we've tried to identify kind of generally the city of Hollister and the sort of the needs of the community from a hotel perspective. Then we actually did select a few quote-unquote areas, not necessarily property in particular, for them to actually look at from a feasibility perspective. One of the areas, not a specific piece of property, would be down by the intersection of Tres Pinos and Sunny Slope Road. So it's safe to assume that's sort of down by the Walgreens area. The other is kind of in the North Gateway part of the community. So sort of north of Santa Ana, south of the airport is being looked at, and then something on the west side on 4th Street. Again, one of the things that people forget about 4th Street or San Juan Road, Hollister San Juan Road is essentially it's only a mile off of 156. There's the opportunity with proper signage to pull people off of 156. You know, we don't have a hotel between Santa Ana with 33 and going on 156 all the way down to essentially Prunedale. So, I mean, there's opportunity, I believe, for us to maybe pick up a little bit of that. So that's one of the other areas that we're having them kind of take a look at. But in general, it's going to be this kind of the city as a whole. So,
Okay. My second question is, wasn't there a chain that wanted to build a hotel on the Westgate?
yes, on Gateway Drive several years
Yes.
ago, there was a Fairfield by Marriott
Right,
that was planned. The developer, again, you know, financing for these projects is really the key. And that particular group, I understand, is still interested in building a hotel here. But financing seems to be a continual issue for them. So that's where that project is at.
Thank you.
Councilmember Friend?
No, I have no questions, just thank you, Billy, for picking up the rock and carrying it for us, because there's no economic development going on unless you're doing it. So.
Well, no, and it's not me. It's actually, this is Mary Paxton, Renee Perales, so.
Okay.
But thank you. I'll let them know.
Thank you. I have no questions. Is there?
Keith Snow?
Hey, Bill, remember I let the emails, right? When Clay was the manager, right? And Robert was the administrative finance. Bridget took over the finance thing. Dirty? That's really dirty with the Robert. He did all the labor, negotiations, workers' comp for a long time, for years in the city. Until not here no more. He's the most efficient, accurate person man I ever met in my life. I ran multiple companies, my own company. And that's dirty. And you know for a fact that I know the people in one kind of city to wait the impact fees, like I said earlier, in their property next to Walgreens and the other two properties. And I want people to buy their properties to do big business in the city. And nothing. I see nothing. When Rudy's the engineer, I taught him. You're not no more. So the point is, right, you guys all talk a lot. Want jobs, create local jobs. You guys make the things difficult when it's easy things. Make it hard for people to have jobs. People can't afford nothing nowadays. People struggle every day. But points what gets me, you guys talk up there, and me being disabled, and able, and very knowledgeable, and ability to do things in the city. And as a matter of fact, next year, 2014, believe me, I got my lunch. It's packed. And I got a lot of information. And I got a lot of business. I got whole things. Just like C loans. C loans in the city. They went up there, have more than C loans here. Right? Political gain up there. Because I see some. And believe me.
Mr. Snow, do you have a question?
Well, my question is, what are you going to do for these people? With local people, When you take people to jobs, when you already
Regarding,
everything
Mr. Snow,
back
regarding
to
this
the-
matter, do you have a question?
Focus
on this
my
matter?
question is, when you guys didn't tell me, give me an answer, I get questions, never got an answers. It's been over here, that with land for sale, for the redevelopment center, they're no longer here, and nothing. I see nothing yet.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Snow.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other speakers?
No others.
No. Is there a motion for approval?
I make a motion that we approve 2013-74 and 2013-75.
Second.
That'd be 174 and 175. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Move on to item F2.
Thank you for that.
Good evening, Mayor and council people. In front of you for this item F2 is a introduction of an ordinance that will affect parking in various areas of the city, most specifically near two schools, Lad Lane School and the Gablin Hills Elementary School. There have been issues related to the traffic congestion. A lot of parents pick up and drop off their kids, and they're double parking and parking in areas that, and allowing their kids to get in and out of the cars and making unsafe movements. So with the school district's discussions with the school district and the police department, we determined that there's a couple solutions that we'd like to do, and this ordinance will allow that to happen. The first one is we're going to, currently on Lad Lane, by Lad Lane School, it's completely no parking from Southside to Tres Pinos. What this item will do for a portion closest to the Lad Lane School, it'll remove the no parking on both sides of the road. That area will become a 3-hour parking zone, with the hope that, with the anticipation that the parents will be able to drop their children off. They'll get out on the sidewalk, they'll walk to the intersection of Lad Lane and Southside where there's an existing crossing guard. The crossing guard will assist them to get across the road into the school in a safe manner. Towards the east, where Sunset Road is, on the west side of Sunset, the same situation will happen. It's signed as no parking, and that was done with the subdivision. What will happen is we'll remove no parking for a section on Sunset. Parents will be allowed to be able to stop, get their kids out. They'll walk to the intersection of Sunset and Southside, again, where there's a crossing guard. The kids will be able to get to school safely at that location. That area on Sunset will be changed to a 3-hour parking. 3-hour parking will allow parents to stop, park, utilize that area to attend school functions. And if they need to park and during the school time, they can do that, knowing that 3 hours should be sufficient time for them to do their business and then get back. Over at Gablin Hills, on the south side of Santa Ana, it's been signed and marked as no parking all the way from the bypass all the way to and including the school. What this item will do is remove the no parking area between La Beg and take it all the way to the westerly property line of the school, changing that into a 3-hour parking zone as well, with all the same reasoning for as Lad Lane School. We're anticipating that this will help the parents, will help the people that are utilizing, that are currently stopping on the other side of the road, making illegal U-turns, help them get their kids to school safely. One other road, because we're doing these changes, on Miller Road, There is, right at San Juan Hollister Road near the Quick Stop, there's 2 parking spots on the west side of Miller Road. What this will do, this ordinance will do is it'll remove that parking, create a no parking zone from San Juan Hollister Road all the way to the driveway to Quick Stop. Right now, the intersection is signalized. A lot of cars wait to make left turns. This will give the opportunity for vehicles, drivers to make a right turn onto San Juan Hollister Road, similar to what people are doing at San Benito and 4th Street now as you're going southbound. People sneak between a curb and the through traffic, make that right turn, and they're on their way. It eliminates the delay for them and allows more cars to actually get through the intersection. So with that item, we're hoping that this item will be introduced and will be brought back to you for adoption at the next council meeting.
Do we have any speakers?
Dr. Gary McIntyre?
Good evening, members, Mayor, Robbie, and Mr. Friend. I just wanted to speak this evening just to give you an idea, speaking in favor of this resolution. I can only speak, of course, to the items with Santa Ana Road near Gablin Hills and the Hollister Dual Language Academy, and also near Ladd Lane. On Ladd Lane, I was very appreciative of Mr. Rubchak's work with us in the city to look at the issues right on the south. Initially, we're looking at south side, and that certainly was not a very good solution. It would, we just couldn't prevent. We're really uncomfortable with the idea of people causing a situation where people might want to cross traffic right there in front of the school. The solution to leave it at Ladd Lane and on Sunset is a real good workable solution because we do have crossing guards both those corners. And so I do want to just acknowledge that, speaking in favor of this particular item. Also want to just point out that in the spirit of moving this document forward or moving this item forward, I've appreciated the City of Hollister's support to the district in looking at these traffic problems. It certainly is a problem. And we've been really pleased to have Mr. Rubchak. We're looking at another property that might be a future site of a school outside of the district or outside of the city council or this jurisdiction, outside of the city limits. But in looking at traffic flow, our hope is that in future planning that we're going to be able to mitigate some of these things before they become problems, because trying to fix them after the fact is really it's much more difficult. So, but these two solutions are very simple ones, and they do seem to us, we walked the properties, and they did seem to be safe and reasonable alternatives to help to alleviate the traffic flow on those streets because of the bottleneck in our parking lots largely. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other speakers? Councilmember Scatini?
I just wanted to say that I'm glad that the city's working with the school district, with Mr. McIntyre, and that's one of my questions. You agreed with this ordinance, and that's very important to me in deciding. Thank you.
Councilmember Friend?
I do have some concerns. On Santa Ana Road, on the south side of Santa Ana Road, east of LaBeige, towards the school, between the school and LaBeige entrance, that's unimproved. There's no sidewalk there. So we're going to ask people, we're going to give them permission to pull off the road there, and they're not going to walk in that dirt orchard. They're going to walk on the road. And I'm concerned that we're now putting people out in traffic.
Okay.
During the summertime, that may not be an issue because walking that dirt part is not going to be a problem. But I'm sure the chief can tell you when they park across the street from Gavilan, half of them get stuck and have to get pulled out because of the mud out there. So they're not going to walk in that mud. They're going to walk on the road. And now you got cars that they have to walk outside of the cars to get by. So they're going to be in traffic.
Actually, Councilmember Friend, this is going to hopefully eliminate all of that. The idea being that those folks that would actually park in the unimproved areas, which is a big problem, would park in the areas that we're now allowing them to park in. So the consideration is that the red zone that's between LaBeige and the school, part of that will now be available for parking where you can't park now.
Right.
I think it's about, 1,300 feet or something like that?
Pretty close.
It's a huge swath.
Yeah.
So they'll actually have available parking on the street, which they don't have any at all right now.
I understand that, but if they just pull off far enough to stay on the roadway and park, then the kids are gonna be walking in the dirt, and if it's raining, they're gonna be walking on the roadway, they're not gonna be walking in the dirt.
Where we're at, since there's a sidewalk at, where we're talking about.
Well, there's no sidewalk there in that orchard between LaBeige and Gavilan schools.
Okay, the affected area is the south side of Santa Ana.
Yeah.
The north side of Santa Ana is actually in the county, and that is the area that we're trying to get people from parking. The south side of Santa Ana does have a sidewalk. There may be a short section where there's a residence that may be void of concrete. I believe it has some asphalt there. But again, the orchard is on the north side of Santa Ana. We want to keep people from parking and pulling off the road exactly. That's the concern is what you're saying. So hopefully we'll have people stopping and letting their children off on the south side of Santa
Now,
Ana.
is that center line gonna be painted yellow so people won't pull out of those parking spots and just do a U-turn on Santa Ana in front of traffic?
I believe
If
the
it
center
was a
line.
solid yellow line, maybe it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I believe the current striping out there is a double yellow. They making a
think it is
U-turn
right in
is
the
not,
school zone,
and it's
but-
marked as no U-turns. There's a lot of no U-turn signs in that area.
Okay.
So making a U-turn is a violation of the traffic code.
Okay. I'm not against it, I'm just saying, I
Ca-
just hate to see people walking on the road.
I share your exact same concerns, exactly. And that's why when we were putting this together, we did it in an area where there would be sidewalks and parents could pull over, actually walk their kids into the dual language academy. It's probably the most affected area, I would say.
Okay.
I want to thank you for the work you've done here, and Chief, for all your work on this issue that's been going on for several months now. It's a problem that was very dangerous for the kids and very difficult for parents to drop their kids off. It's not a perfect solution, but it does make things quite a bit better, so I'm looking forward to moving forward on this item.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is this an action item we're dealing with here, Billy?
Yeah, it is an ordinance, so this is the first reading.
You need a motion with that?
Is there a motion?
Yep, I'll make a motion that we approve
I'll second.
ordinance.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move forward with F3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, I guess this would be phase one of our, I guess we're trying to improve parking downtown as well. So this item would change the hours in the central traffic district on the streets from 2 to 3 hours for their maximum time of parking. Again, I said this is phase one because we have some other things we're going to put together in the next month or so. Tonight, you also approved the holiday parking for free after, for the 2 months in holidays. So we'll work on those items during that time and come back to you with some more solutions. We're talking about permits and some other things that we might bring to the council as well.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Scatini?
I don't have any questions on that.
Councilmember Friend?
No, I have no questions about this.
Thank you again for all the work you put into this.
I'll move that we approve resolution.
Do we have any speakers? I'm sorry, no. Just to make sure, go ahead.
1095.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item G1, reports from city council committees.
I got to see Dr. the principal. We got to get
Councilmember Scatini, is there any items you want to report on from any committee meetings?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Friend, are there any? I do not have any either. Is there any reports you'd like to report on? Councilmember Scatini?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Friend?
Yes, I'd like to make a request that we adjourn in the memory of departed veterans. Being that this is the last council meeting before November 11th, I would like to adjourn in their memory.
Okay. I don't have any reports. City Manager?
I have a few short ones. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a quick update on the work being done at PG&E. It's continuing. They're removing soil. They're importing soil. Continued truck traffic again for the next week or so until things start to tail off. Other than that, there hasn't been any incidences as far as I am aware of. Or complaints. They've been doing a great job over there, keeping things moving, good traffic control and whatnot. Last week, I'm pleased to announce that the home that the City of Hollister and Chispa had worked collaboratively on, the rehabilitation at 1148 San Benito Street, closed escrow. We have people in there. I'm not sure if we've gotten a check yet from escrow, but I know it's coming, so we have that. Councilmember Gomez and Mayor Velasquez are part of a subcommittee that will be reviewing contract city attorney services. We hope to have those arranged sometime at probably next week with a decision. We're interviewing the top two firms. They haven't been notified yet, but we will be doing that here shortly, probably tomorrow. And then the mayor and Councilman Gomez will be having a discussion with them next week, and then we'll move forward with a contract as soon as possible. The last thing I have is, a couple of council meetings ago, the council directed staff to put out an RFP on the purchase of another little small piece behind Walgreens. Just coming back to you and letting you know that we haven't received a ton of activity. There may be a desire to go ahead and extend that date. The bid opening date was going to be November 7th. The property that we are looking at selling on the corner of Hillcrest and Meridian, I'm sorry, the bypass and Hillcrest, we do have a submission for that, so that will move forward. But like I said, the rumblings that I'm hearing around town is that there hasn't been a lot of interest yet on the stuff behind Walgreens. So I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. Sorry, I'll let the council know as soon as possible, but we may end up extending that pursuant to a lack of interest.
Where was that second one?
We have a sliver piece, a triangular piece on, it's the northeast corner of Hillcrest and the bypass. If you'll notice when you drive by on the bypass, you'll see Harold Serrato's orchard, and then there's some weeds and stuff on kind of a triangle shape. That's that one. And then there's another half acre that's right behind Walgreens. That was the other piece. Okay. And I think that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you. City Attorney? Chief?
I just have three things, and they're really short. Number one, we sworn in a new police officer this morning, Jonathan Martinez, out of Reno, Nevada. Great guy. He's actually from Salinas. He'll be starting tomorrow, actually. And two, November 12th, Sergeant Brian Juergens will be, I think, having his key ceremony at his house at 4 p.m. And the public is invited to come to that. There's actually I think there's actually a Facebook page on that as well. And then yesterday I started a program, or actually a campaign, called Hollister Gives Back. And this year we'll be doing the Holiday Mail for Heroes and sending cards to injured military service people all over the world, which will be a local campaign that we'll do. Hopefully Mr. Clower will help me with. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, City Clerk?
Thank you. Next Monday is Veterans Day, as mentioned before. There is the annual ceremony at 11 in front of Veterans Memorial Building, and then the annual parade starts at 1:30, and then the big annual Lights On celebration is Saturday, November 30th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And as always, there's events and activities going on during the day before the big parade that night.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move forward to item F3, or I'm sorry, G3.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I come before you tonight to begin a discussion regarding reinstatement of the full-time code enforcement position. As you recall, during the budget hearings, we had brought back a part-time position in a revenue recovery mode, and we were going to discuss it at the mid-year about bringing back the full-time position. Currently, I'm scheduled to lose Bob Brooks, who's been doing the part-time position, in February, in order to have time to do a recruitment, get somebody hired, and get them on the books by the mid-year so that there's a little bit of overlap and there's no gap. We need to start soon, which is why I'm here tonight. If you choose not to do that, then there will probably be a gap of some time where productivity will decline until I can get somebody new up to speed. So I have with me tonight the latest numbers of that position that you put in at the beginning of the year if you're interested in what's been recovered to date. Once again, all this will do is effectively give us another half-time position or 1,000 more hours. That time can be used to address the issues that you discussed last meeting and give us more time to address less life safety issues such as parking on lawns, sidewalks, et cetera, and allow us to take care of those issues also, give us more resources to address that.
Okay. Councilmember Friend, do you have questions?
No, I guess what you're asking for is, Mr. Chambliss, is to discuss this and bring it back before the whole council so that we can make a recommendation. Because this is I understand, a mid-budget, mid-year change that we're looking at.
Can you talk to this phone?
Why not? And I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands we're only talking about, we're adding a full-time position, but we're only talking about the last 6 months of this budget period that we would have that person that
That
we
is
don't
correct.
have in the budget correctly.
I'm sorry?
That's not in the budget right now.
It is not in the budget right now. It would,
So we're gonna have-
the money would be presented to you during the mid-year budget to fund the rest of that.
Yeah, so we just have to look at that impact is what, I'm not saying I'm for or against either. I'm just saying that there's going to be some impact there that we have to look at. And it's possibly there, it's just something we're going to have to dig into. Look, I mean, I think it could pay for itself, especially with the new aggressive move that we're going to make January 1 to where people are actually going to be out there enforcing the code instead of waiting for somebody to complain about it. I think it's necessary to have this person out there, so that would be my only comment.
Councilmember Scatini?
Pretty much what Ray said, I agree. I think all the council members should be here to make that decision. And again, I'm not for it, I'm not against it at this time. I'd like to study it and have more information on it. Okay? That's my position.
I agree. I think the other council members should be involved in.
So I guess my question is, do you want to see this on January 1, or do you want to see this next council meeting?
No, I think it's time to start looking at it.
Okay.
I agree.
That was my question for
What I'd like
tonight.
to see from you, Mike, is a proposal from you to tell us exactly what you think it's going to cost, what they think they're going to, you know what the 6-month recovery was on that. Kind of project that out and show us, you know, what the revenue stream is going to be and what we think we're going to be spending. It's going to be helpful to justify the position. Not that we all know we need it, we just have to justify that position.
Well, the cost is $75,000 for the full year. So the additional cost for next budget cycle would be $55,000. a little less than that, actually, because half the benefits wouldn't need to be paid.
Well, but
because
it's going to
half the
impact
year's
the
gone.
next budget also.
But as far as predicting revenue streams and everything else, I will do the best I can, but remember, this is one-time money that you really can't predict. Crime is going to happen, so I'll do the best I can, but I could show you what's happened in the past.
Well, people will still be people. Down the road, they'll still be
That's correct.
parking on lawns, so.
Yeah, I think Councilmember Friend is just pointing out that we know what the numbers will cost us. We should know the full impact of that over the year. But also, through history, our records tell us what it should be from the past and what, with the addition of a full-time person doing this, what the estimated numbers are, conservative numbers.
That I can
So we
give
can
you.
make a better decision on it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And we'd also need another vehicle, right? Or are we going to continue on with the Jeep that we're using for?
No, there is a code enforcement vehicle, and it's currently being shared by the two part-time positions. I wouldn't see any need to get another vehicle at this time.
Actually, there's a vehicle in our department that is not used very often, and we could make arrangements to have that be available as well.
And one of the recommendations I would make when we do this, if we do this, is that vehicle be very identifiable. I mean, when he's moving around the town, we want to know why he's out there and what he's doing. Just to promote the program. I mean, just make that thing canary yellow or something that stands out, you know? You know, so everybody gets the word, you know, watch out, the yellow vehicles on the street, you know? So get your
Mike will
rig-
tell you that's the exact opposite of what I used to like to do.
Well, if they're going to egg it, at least it'd be the same color, you know?
But there are times in my job when you don't necessarily want me to be as noticeable, and
that comes with the
so
job.
I'm able to collect the proper evidence, so.
That's okay. Councilmember Scatini.
I'd just like to see the qualifications. Are you going to try to get somebody that has some experience?
The job description was attached to tonight's
Well,
thing.
I don't have that right now. I'll just
Okay.
have the,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
But I'm not looking at changing any of the qualifications, so.
Okay. I'll check that out. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Item H, I, J.
Well, wait, I'm sorry. One more thing. Chief O'Connor is here. He'd like to give you a brief update. Probably should have done it during the department reports, but if it pleases the council, if you don't mind, if he gives you a quick report on.
Mayor and council members, just two things to report on. Basically, I'll be spending some money that we got donated to us by the Fireman's Fund and AAA on some rescue jacks and on the File for Life. We're going to actually spend that money now that we've got it. It's in the account. We'll be spending that. And then the other thing is, we just signed a MOU with the Boy Scouts of America to start the Explorer Post for the youth here in Hollister. Children or kids from the ages of 14 to 21 can start taking part in a fire explorer post, exploring the field of fire science. So we'll be developing that and probably start recruiting kids at the high school and junior high to take part in that program. So just two things I wanted to report on to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mike.
Chief.
Item H, I, J, and K, there's no
I'd like
business.
to make a motion that we adjourn under, for the disabled, or the fallen veterans for the past wars.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone.